Hi, it's Kathy from Books at Bishopstone, where I talk about some of the books that I have read from my bookshelf. So this is trying to help me get through reading some of those books that have been sitting around on my bookshelf for quite a while. So I thought if I made some videos, talked about the books, then I would be forced to read through those books, hopefully a bit quicker. There are, of course, as well some videos here about some books that I have bought during the year and also some of my book club books. So the book that I'm going to be talking about today is one of my books, not necessarily from my bookshelf, but from a stack of books that sit next to my bookshelf that I hope to read but not put on my bookshelf, if that makes sense. They are sitting there to be read and then to go out of the house because I thought they would be interesting reads but not necessarily ones that I wanted to put on my bookshelf and read again. Some of them might surprise me. I do have quite a few in that pile, but at least this is one of the books that I have finally got round to reading. Now, this is a book that is in the crime theme area, which I quite like. It's by an author I've never read any of his work before. The author is Richard Montanari, I think that's how you spell it, and the book is Play Dead. At first, I must admit, the first thing I thought was I wasn't sure if it was Dead Play or Play Dead to begin with, but that's nothing to do with the book, that's just to do with the cover. So, what can I tell you about Richard Montanari? I've got some notes here just to remember. So, he, at present, is 73 years old, and he published his first novel in 1995. So, he has written quite a number of novels. And I think his very first novel that he, which was, so I think they're all crime, kind of thriller books that he's written. His very first book that he wrote, he did win an online, I think it's called an online crime award for his very first novel. So he started off with a bang, and I guess he's continued, even though I haven't actually come across him before. So, yes, in 2007, he started his series set in Philadelphia, which this is one of the books from that series. So it's a crime series set around the Rosary Girls, or called the Rosary Girls. I'm not quite sure. And this is number 4 in the Philadelphia series. So there are 2 main police people in this book. There is Jessica and Kevin. I am just kind of guessing, since it's a series, that they will be in all of the Philadelphia crime books. I don't know because I haven't read them. But yeah, I'm just trying to think why it was that I picked this up and thought, oh yes, this could be interesting to read. I'm just going to say the very first line on the back of the book here says, "In each soul a secret." So, okay, the premise of this story is that the story is about a serial killer. You have these 2 detectives, Jessica and Kevin, who have called to a crime scene where a girl is found displayed in a glass cabinet and with no kind of external signs of trauma or obvious cause of death. So by starting to look at this first death of a teenage girl who is a runaway, it kind of leads them on to a series of other murders that occur, all by the same murderer. We do meet the murderer during the book. So we have the story told from the detective side, and we have the story told from the killer's side as well. And as the story goes through, of course, you can piece it together, learn a bit of the history, why he might be doing what he's doing, where the story is kind of going, and then you've got the police investigation mirroring that in terms of them trying to work out how to solve the crimes. And because they're a serial killer, there is a bit of a puzzle that they have to work out, of course, to try and work out who he is. They know there's going to be, he decides to have 7 murders. And yeah, I would say, I mean, as a book, I quite enjoyed this book. I must admit, I thought of it as a little bit like I was going to say a naughty pleasure, a guilty pleasure. I don't know, but it gave me very much the vibes of a American TV crime, kind of police crime program, maybe a daytime police crime program. I thought that the way the book was written as well, I could see it as a TV program. Does that make sense? I think that the way he writes is very descriptive and very, I don't know, it just seems to, the descriptions seem to really work well for kind of imagining them as scenes in a movie or in a telemovie kind of type thing. That's just the way I was reading it and seeing it. I thought it's not, generally speaking, it's not the kind of thing that I generally read. I do like crime and I do like reading a lot of crime, but I must say that I do like reading a lot of English crime, UK crime. I do like a bit of true crime, but generally speaking, I don't read or choose straight off the bat an American styled kind of drama, big city kind of crime thriller drama. That's not where I usually go, but I did really enjoy this. I thought the writing was really great. It was very descriptive, like I said. I could imagine the scenes really well. I thought the characters were really interesting. And even though each murder was quite bizarre in a way, so it kind of held your interest in the way that the murders were all very unique. They were not the same. Nothing was the same about any of the murders. So they were interesting, intriguing, a little bit outlandish in a way, I guess, at least to me, and but not too gory. Even though they were kind of, some of them were a little bit gory, the deaths, I didn't find the way that he wrote about them or described them as being particularly gory, because that's something that I'm not really overly interested in either. Yeah, so I thought that was probably the main thing that I liked about the book. Was it was interesting, it was engaging, it was kind of, I felt like it was kind of like moving along quite nicely, and I did like the ending. It kind of wraps everything up quite nicely as well. So I don't know what else you could say about it. Would I read another one of his books? Yeah, I think I would. If I came across another one of his books, yeah, I would read it. It's probably not a book, like I was saying, that I'm going to keep or read again, simply because I have so many books that, you know, there's only so many books I can keep on a bookshelf. But definitely, yeah, definitely one I would look out for. And if you're interested in a big city crime book, I would definitely recommend this. And I would also recommend probably going to read some of his other books, even though I haven't read them. But if they're all like this, I think that his books would be really, really interesting. If I come across some of these again, yeah, I would definitely think about picking one up and putting it on my big list, even though that's not really what I'm supposed to be doing at the moment. I'm supposed to be reading these books so I can move them on out of the house. Okay, if you've read the book, as always, leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear what you've thought. If you've read his other books, can you tell me, are they the same as this? Are they different? Yeah, or do you have a favourite of this author's books? I would love to hear it. And I actually have now 2 book club books that I have to read, and so I hopefully in my next videos I will be talking to you about my book club books. But that's it for now. So yep, it's a big tick from me on this one. I really enjoyed it. Okay, bye.